The American Civil War. Over 600,000 dead, countless wounded. These photographs reveal what textbooks sanitize. Subscribe to History Unveiled for history's unvarnished truth. Petersburg, Virginia trenches. Confederate soldier fallen during the long siege. Final year of the war. Photograph preserving reality of intense, costly fighting that defined Petersburg campaign. Bodies left where they dropped. Trench warfare grinding both armies down through months of stalemate and bloodshed. From Dr. R.B. Bontecu's medical collection. Private G. Porubsky, 46th New York Volunteers, photographed after treatment for serious arm injury. Medical procedures performed in era before antiseptic practices became standard. Soldiers underwent surgery with primitive tools, no understanding of infection, limited anesthesia. Survival often remarkable. Many soldiers feared field hospitals more than battle itself. American Zoo ambulance crew demonstrates battlefield casualty removal method. Organized effort to retrieve wounded amid combat chaos. Medical support teams risking exposure to gunfire while extracting injured soldiers. Their work preserving lives when minutes determine survival. Coordinated systems saving those who could be reached. Marye's Heights, Fredericksburg, following second battle. Wounded Union soldiers rest after engagement. Several Native American sharpshooters also receiving care nearby. Battle injuries affecting diverse participants. Limited medical resources stretched across all casualties, regardless of background. Field treatment wherever space allowed. What happened next at Savage Station would strand thousands. Savage Station, June 29, 1862. Union successfully defended against Magruder's attack, then retreated through White Oak Swamp. Federal forces left many wounded behind. Medical teams provided what care possible before withdrawal. Following day, around 2,500 injured men became Confederate prisoners. Southern hospitals struggling with their own casualties now received enemy wounded facing difficult conditions. Fredericksburg, May 12, 1864. City received massive influx of wounded from Wilderness and Spotsylvania battles. Damaged buildings rapidly converted to temporary hospitals. Both armies dealing with heavy casualties from these brutal engagements. Urban structures becoming emergency treatment centers. Overwhelmed medical staff treating continuous stream of injured. The Wilderness and Spotsylvania produced over 30,000 casualties combined. Alexandria Hospital Ward Interior. Wounded soldiers receiving care and recovering in converted space. Nationwide barracks, homes, tents transformed into medical facilities. By late 1864, Washington operated 25 hospitals. Thousands of beds supporting wars injured across the country. Civilian infrastructure repurposed for military medical needs. Summary document listing key commanders and units from major campaigns. Union General Sedgwick, Sheridan. Burnside opposing Confederate leaders Lee, Johnston, Hardee, Hood. Note significant losses both sides experienced in battles around Rocky Face Ridge, Georgia. Paper record of leadership and casualties. Statistics representing individuals suffering multiplied across armies. Marye's Heights, Fredericksburg, under the trees. Wounded soldiers resting after Spotsylvania Courthouse battle, May 1864. Troops exhausted from one of war's most intense campaigns, awaiting further medical support that might not arrive. Shade providing only comfort available. Soldiers surviving battle now facing infection, gangrene, amputation. Camp Griffin near Washington, 1861. Burial detail from Vermont Brigade. Entire brigade composed of Vermont regiments experiencing very heavy losses throughout the war. Soldiers performing grim duty of interring their own. Human cost measured in graves dug by survivors. Service and sacrifice concentrated in single states regiments. Private Samuel Decker, Company I, 4th United States Artillery. Severely injured during cannon accident at Battle of Perryville, Kentucky, October 1862. Photographed with self-designed prosthetic devices. Remarkable adaptability after serious wartime injury. Soldier engineering his own recovery when medical establishment offered limited solutions. Tens of thousands of soldiers returned home with amputated limbs. Private Jason Jocelyn, Company I. 7th New York Heavy Artillery. Wounded at Battle of Cold Harbor, 1864. Received major medical treatment. Shown with supportive device in place. Challenging recovery many soldiers faced. Medical apparatus enabling mobility. Life permanently altered by single bullet or shell fragment. Private Hiram Williams, Company K, 98th Pennsylvania Volunteers. Seriously wounded at Battle of Appomattox, 1865. One of many soldiers dealing with long-term injury effects as war reached conclusion. Final battles, still claiming casualties. Peace arriving too late, for those already broken. Private Neil Wicks, Company C, 4th United States Colored Troops. Dealing with common camp illness affecting his legs. Photograph highlighting difficult living conditions and health challenges beyond combat. Disease killing more soldiers than bullets. Contaminated water, poor sanitation. Crowded quarters breeding sickness. Disease caused 2 deaths for everyone killed in battle. Corporal Thomas Matthews, Company I, 198th Pennsylvania Volunteers. Wounded at Battle of Petersburg, late March 1865. Serious injuries received during conflict's final stages. War continuing to maim even as Confederate collapse approached. Weeks from surrender, men still falling. Private Joseph Harvey, 149th New York. Severely wounded at Chancellorsville, May 1863. After treatment and capture, discharged in 65 due to lasting disability. Passed away few years later. Wounds ultimately claiming life long after guns went silent. Victory meaningless to the permanently damaged. Many veterans died years later from war wounds and disease. Battlefield aftermath. Fallen soldiers resting where combat ended. Many still wearing Union or Confederate uniforms. Personal equipment scattered nearby. Historic black and white photograph illustrating heavy toll of 19th century warfare. Bodies awaiting burial details. Reality no parade or monument captures. Well-known Civil War photograph. Numerous fallen Confederate soldiers along dirt road and near defensive log fence after intense fighting. Uniforms and equipment still visible. Scene capturing serious aftermath of major engagement. Dead arranged by where they dropped. Photography documenting what survivors tried to forget. Virginia Battlefield, 1866. Photograph by Alexander Gardner. Freed African-American workers carefully gathering and reburying remains 2 years after war ended. Long, respectful effort honoring those lost during conflict. Former enslaved people performing sacred duty. Reclaiming bodies still exposed to elements. Dignity restored through patient labor. Cities burned. Monuments rose. The cost endures. Petersburg, Virginia, 1865. Devastated landscape after long siege and final Union breakthrough. Foreground shows shattered trees, fallen logs, debris from intense artillery fire. Damaged wooden railroad bridge crosses ravine leading to smoke-filled ruins. Town scattered buildings and barracks visible on distant hill. Total destruction and desolation left by one of war's longest, bloodiest campaigns. 1911 photograph. Historic ironclad USS Monitor or similar Monitor-style gunboat grounded on rocky riverbank. Low armored vessel features 2 tall smokestacks, central turret, heavy plating. American flag flying at stern. Union Navy's famous monitors, likely beached for maintenance or after action. Revolutionary warship design that changed naval warfare. The Monitor sank in a storm off Cape Hatteras in 1862. Union soldiers, likely artillerymen, pose proudly in full dress uniforms on sandy fortification or battery, surrounded by sandbags, cannon carriage, wooden platforms. One soldier stands on high parapet as lookout. Others hold rifles or boxes. Ocean or beach visible in background. Disciplined, well-equipped federal troops at Coastal Fort, possibly Fort Fisher. Richmond Mansion or public building, 1865. Heavily damaged interior after artillery bombardment or fire during Confederate Capitol's fall. Large broken window frame seen. Walls blasted open, debris everywhere. Rubble piled around ruined fireplace and ornate mantel. Destruction left in Confederate heartland at war's end. Richmond, April 1865. Gutted ruins of large brick building. likely Tredegar Iron Works or factory warehouse, after Confederate evacuation and fires. Only jagged skeletal walls and tall chimneys remained standing amid piles of debris and ground rubble. Widespread destruction in Richmond as Confederacy collapsed. Confederate forces burned their own capital to deny Union forces supplies. St. John's Episcopal Church, Richmond, Virginia. Gutted ruins after massive fires during Confederate evacuation, April 1865. Gothic-style church interior reduced to shattered arches, broken stained glass windows, collapsed stonework. Few people, likely soldiers or locals, sitting amid rubble and foreground. Total devastation of Confederate capital symbolized. United States Christian Commission building. Large group gathered outside. Soldiers, civilians, men, women, children, during or after war. Many wear civilian clothes or military uniforms. Supplies like crates, barrels, baskets visible, suggesting relief efforts or aid distribution. Mix of military and civilian life. Christian Commission providing support to troops and communities. Relief organizations like the Christian Commission fed thousands throughout the war. 7 African American Union soldiers, United States colored troops, standing proudly before winter quarters or log hut camp, wearing mixed uniforms, overcoats, blankets as capes, various hats, cooking utensils and camp gear visible around them. Service and daily life of black soldiers who fought for Union during war. Family of refugees, likely Confederate civilians, fleeing with belongings piled high on horse-drawn wagon. Men, women, children sit atop overloaded cart pulled by oxen. Household goods, bedding, supplies tied on. Standing in dirt road, near simple wooden buildings. Hardship and displacement faced by Southern families during or after war. Post-war photograph. Large group of freed African American people, men, women, children, gathered outdoors before simple wooden house. Many seated on ground in traditional clothing and head wraps. Some stand or kneel. Families and community members together. Moment of freedom, gathering, possibly religious or social event in Reconstruction-era South. Lives and community of newly emancipated Black Americans. Fort Sumter after years of bombardment. Heavily damaged, rubble-strewn interior. Massive brick walls breached, gun emplacements destroyed, debris everywhere. American flag flies over ruined fort. Lone soldier stands amid wreckage. Iconic site transformed from war's starting point to symbol of endurance and destruction by 1865. The fort where the war began would witness its end. USS Wabash flagship during American Civil War. Minstrels photographed aboard. 2 banjos and guitar visible. Entertainment aboard warships. Sailors seeking relief from monotony and danger through music. Cultural practices continuing even at sea during conflict. Gettysburg battlefield. Lone corpse propped against pile of rocks. Body left where it fell. Reality of America's bloodiest battle preserved on film. Over 50,000 casualties across 3 days. Single dead soldier representing thousands. Richmond, Virginia, capital of Confederacy. Ruined buildings at Riverside after city fell to General Ulysses Grant's Union Army. April 2, 1865. Skeletal structures along waterfront. Economic and administrative center of rebellion reduced to shells. Richmond's fall meant the Confederacy had effectively lost the war. Fort Corcoran, Arlington Heights, Virginia, June 1, 1861. Sunday morning mass in camp of 69th New York State Militia. Father Thomas Mooney, chaplain, with Irish-American soldiers at Catholic Massachusetts religious observance continuing amid military life. Faith-sustaining soldiers far from home. Fredericksburg, Virginia. View of battered city where Confederates defeated Union. December 13, 1862. Urban battlefield showing war's destructive path through civilian spaces. Homes and businesses caught in crossfire. Rappahannock River, Virginia, August 1862. African American refugees cross under watchful eyes of Union soldiers. 2 women, faces obscured, sit with worldly possessions in wagon. Young boy without shoes at right rides horse bareback. Enslaved people escaping to freedom. War creating opportunities for flight. Greek Civil War. Forcibly displaced children documented in state archives of Republic of Macedonia. Later conflict echoing patterns of American Civil War. Civilian displacement, recurring theme across wars and centuries. Civil War veteran with family. Photographs showing soldier who survived reunited with loved ones. Those fortunate enough to return home building peacetime lives. War survivors carrying memories forward. Many veterans struggled with what we now call PTSD for decades after. Richmond's fall, April 1865. Civilians fled city as fires lit night sky. Explosions and riots followed evacuation. Much of former Confederate capital burned and silent. Next day, Union troops marched in, marking effective end of Confederacy. Painting depicting vigil around Abraham Lincoln as he lay dying in Peterson House, April 14th through 15th, 1865. Mary Lincoln shown at center with son Robert nearby. Cabinet members, generals, close aides gathered. Nation's leaders witnessing final moments of assassinated president. Symbolic artwork representing historical tragedy. Abraham Lincoln statue installation in Lincoln Memorial, Washington, D.C., 1920. Original photograph from construction. Monument rising 55 years after assassination. Nation memorializing president who preserved Union. Stone tribute to fallen leader.